All right, so are you ready to dive into some political drama today?
Always.
Okay, good. So, a lot of people are talking about the reactions to Trump's recent election win,
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy.
especially like the reactions from his own party, like what's going on there.
Right.
And we've got some really interesting sources to help us unpack this whole thing.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we've got this really fiery Reddit thread
Yeah.
that's all about Mitch McConnell's recent comments about Trump.
Interesting.
And then we've got this article from HuffPost that adds even more fuel to the fire.
Okay.
So the big question is this just another political squabble, or is there something deeper going on here?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it?
Let's find out.
Okay.
So first things first, this Reddit thread is just overflowing with anger towards McConnell.
Wow.
People are using some pretty strong language.
Like what?
Oh, things like, this is your legacy, Mitch.
Why?
And just blaming him for enabling Trump,
Mm.
even saying he could have stopped him.
Well,
So why this intense backlash against McConnell all of a sudden?
to understand that, I think we need to kind of take a step back
Okay.
and look at the history between Trump and McConnell.
Okay.
It's complex.
Yeah.
They definitely work together on some things,
Like what?
like conservative goals, like, tax cuts and judicial appointments.
Yeah.
But there were also some key areas where they really clashed.
Huh?
Do you remember the Trans-Pacific Partnership Trade Agreement?
Yeah. Vaguely.
Well, McConnell was a huge advocate for free trade,
Okay.
and he really opposed Trump's decision to withdraw from it.
So they weren't always on the same page?
Not at all, no.
Okay. So there was definitely some tension there.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that tension's even more clear in this recent statement McConnell made in the HuffPost article.
What did he say?
Well, it's kind of a chilling parallel
No?
between the current political climate and the lead up to World War II.
Wow.
He specifically points to Trump's America First slogan and says that it sounds a lot like the isolationist rhetoric of the 1930s.
Interesting.
Yeah, the exact quote is, "We're in a very, very dangerous world right now, reminiscent of before World War II. Even the slogan is the same, America First." That was what they said in the 30s.
Pretty heavy stuff.
It is.
I mean, it sounds like he's really worried.
Yeah, and it's not just some random historical comparison.
Right.
McConnell's super concerned about Trump's foreign policy approach,
Like specifically.
especially his stance on Ukraine
Okay.
and, all the escalating tensions with Russia and China.
Right.
He sees these echoes of the past that led to global conflict.
Yikes.
And he's worried that we might be headed down a similar path.
I can see why he'd be worried.
But here's where things get really interesting and kind of ironic. So back in April,
Okay.
McConnell publicly said that he would support Trump as the nominee,
Hmm.
even though he admitted that he didn't really like him personally.
Huh.
So on the one hand, he's like warning everyone about the dangers of a Trump presidency. But on the other hand, he's pledging his support for him.
So which is it?
Yeah, it's confusing.
I mean, this kind of goes to show you how the world of politics really works.
Yeah.
It's all about strategy and power plays,
Hmm,
McConnell's known for putting party unity above his own personal feelings.
I see.
It's about maintaining control.
But wait, he's stepping down as party leader in 2025, right?
Right.
So doesn't that make these criticisms of Trump even more interesting?
It really does.
Like, is he speaking more freely now that he doesn't have to worry about being the leader?
That's a good question.
I mean, it's something to think about.
Yeah, definitely.
And then there's the whole issue of backlash,
Oh, right.
like what happens when you speak out against Trump?
He's not exactly known for taking criticism well.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember what happened to Ross Beatty?
Yeah, it's not pretty.
And some people in that Reddit thread are even wondering if McConnell's got extra security now.
Wow.
Like, they're actually concerned for his safety.
That's kind of scary.
It is.
Like, he might be in danger just for criticizing Trump.
Yeah, it's a scary thought.
But it's not just about fear.
What else is it about?
There are also tons of accusations of hypocrisy in the Reddit thread.
Mm.
People are calling out McConnell for complaining about Trump now,
Right.
after spending years helping him gain power.
Like, they're saying, where was this outrage before?
Exactly.
It's a valid point.
It is.
It makes you think about political legacy.
Yeah.
Like, how do we judge someone's actions in the moment versus looking back on them with hindsight?
Right.
Will people remember McConnell for speaking out against Trump?
Or for the things he did that might have helped Trump get elected in the first place.
Tough question.
It is a tough question.
And it's a question that I think will be debated for a long time.
Yeah, probably.
But before we get too deep into that,
Yeah.
Let's actually take a closer look at some of the specific criticisms that people are making against McConnell in that Reddit thread.
Okay.
Because some of them are really brutal.
Oh.
And they really show you how raw people's emotions are about this whole situation.
Okay, so let's dive into those criticisms and see what we can learn.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so digging into the Reddit thread.
Okay. Okay, so one thing that keeps popping up in the thread is that McConnell, put party over country.
Interesting.
Yeah, people feel like he just kind of ignored all of Trump's flaws and, his dangerous rhetoric just to get ahead politically.
Yeah, like he just looked the other way.
Exactly.
Because it was convenient at the time.
Right.
And now they feel like they're paying the price.
Right, and they point to, his support for Trump's Supreme Court nominees.
Oh, yeah.
Even though there were, a lot of concerns about their qualifications and, what it would mean for the whole legal system.
Right. So basically, people are saying that McConnell prioritized, short-term political wins
Yeah,
over the long-term well-being of the country.
exactly. And it's not just about domestic policy either.
With us?
Well, people are also saying that McConnell, let Trump get away with a lot of foreign policy blunders and that it really hurt America's reputation in the world.
Oh, okay. Like what specifically?
Well, they talk about things like Trump pulling out of the Iran nuclear deal
Right.
and him being friendly with authoritarian leaders
Mm.
and all his unpredictable trade policies.
Yeah.
They're basically saying that Trump undermined America's leadership on the global stage.
So this is where McConnell's warnings about America First and isolationism get really interesting.
Yeah.
It seems like he's acknowledging the damage that Trump's foreign policy has caused,
Right.
but is he just stating the obvious?
Right.
Or is he trying to distance himself from all of this?
Rewrite his own history a little bit.
Yeah, because he was a part of it too.
Exactly. It makes you wonder.
And especially now that he's stepping down as party leader in 2025.
Right.
It creates this power vacuum in the Republican Party.
Yeah.
And who's going to fill it?
Yeah. Who's going to step up?
Will it be another Trump loyalist?
Right. Someone who just doubles down on all of that.
Yeah. Or will it be someone who's more like a traditional conservative?
Someone who wants to move away from the Trump era.
It's like we're watching this whole political drama unfold
Yeah.
with different factions fighting for control.
Right. On one side, you have the diehard Trump supporters.
Yeah, the ones who love his style and his agenda.
Exactly.
And then on the other side, you have the more establishment Republicans.
Yeah, the ones who aren't really comfortable with Trump, but are also afraid of losing his supporters.
Right. And then you have people like McConnell who are kind of stuck in the middle.
Trying to figure out how to survive.
Yeah. It's a delicate balancing act.
It really is. And the stakes are so high.
Yeah, the future of the Republican Party is kind of hanging in the balance.
And not just the party, but American politics in general.
Right, because what happens with the Republicans affects everyone.
Exactly.
And it's interesting to think about how McConnell's warnings will be perceived depending on who takes over the party.
Yeah, if it's another Trump ally.
People might just dismiss McConnell as a bitter old man.
Right.
But if it's a more moderate leader,
his warnings might actually gain some traction.
yeah, and maybe even lead to some real change.
It's possible.
And let's not forget about the bigger picture here.
Oh, right.
We're talking about a world that's super volatile right now.
It really is.
The war in Ukraine,
Yeah.
China's growing power,
And climate change.
all these huge challenges.
That's a lot.
And a lot of people argue that Trump's America First approach just made things worse.
It pushed away our
Yeah.
allies and
Yeah.
made our enemies stronger.
So McConnell's warnings, whether they're sincere or not,
Right.
they're a reminder that the stakes are incredibly high right now.
Yeah, no matter what happens next.
Right. These political decisions have huge consequences.
Absolutely. They affect all of us.
Yeah, and they'll shape the future of the country and the world.
It's a lot of responsibility.
It is.
And it makes you think about the role of conscience in politics. At what point do you have to put your own morals above your loyalty to the party?
Yeah, when is it more important to speak out against something that's wrong?
Even if it means going against your own side.
Those are tough questions.
They really are.
And they're questions that go beyond just politics.
Right.
It's about leadership and power and responsibility.
And we all have to grapple with these questions.
As citizens.
Exactly, because we're all part of the system.
It's easy to get caught up in the drama of politics.
Yeah.
But we have to remember that there's a bigger picture.
And our choices today will have an impact on the future.
Okay, so let's take a minute to process all of this.
Yeah.
Before we move on to the final part of this deep dive. We've covered a lot of ground,
We have.
but there's still some really interesting things to unpack,
Like what?
especially when it comes to what this all means for the future of American politics.
Right, because this is just the beginning.
Wow. So much to think about with all this. It's like we started with this simple question about reactions to Trump's win.
Yeah.
But then it's like this whole can of worms opened up.
Definitely.
McConnell's warnings and people being angry and his legacy and what it means for America's place in the world.
And how everything's connected. Like, what happens here affects everything else.
It's kind of crazy.
It really is, and especially with someone like Trump.
Yeah.
Who you just never know what he's going to do next.
It's like walking on eggshells.
With, like, global consequences.
Exactly. So it brings us back to McConnell changing his tune. Is he really worried about the country?
It could do that.
Or is he just trying to make himself look better?
Maybe.
Or is he playing some kind of long game?
Yeah, you never know.
With politicians.
Like, is he setting himself up for something after Trump?
It's like a chess match.
Totally.
Every move is calculated.
And you have to think like 10 steps ahead.
Exactly. And then you have the public watching all of this unfold.
Right.
Like that Reddit thread we talked about.
Yeah. They're not just sitting back and observing, you know.
They're part of the game.
They're speaking out.
Holding people accountable.
And they want answers.
It's easy to be cynical about politics.
Oh, yeah.
But then you see that passion in the Reddit thread.
The anger, the frustration.
Yeah, but also like the hope.
That people still care.
That they want to make things better.
Yeah, and it reminds you that democracy isn't perfect.
It's messy.
It's loud.
But it's also like a conversation.
We all have a voice.
Even if it's just on Reddit.
Right, and social media can be a double-edged sword.
Yeah, sometimes it's just noise.
But sometimes it's a place for real debate.
To share ideas.
To challenge each other.
To try and understand what's going on.
And that's really what this whole deep dive has been about.
Yeah.
To get people thinking critically.
To look at things from different perspectives.
To give you the tools to navigate this crazy political world.
So as we wrap up here,
yeah,
we want you to think about this.
Okay.
What does McConnell's change of heart really mean?
Is it real?
Is it fake?
Is it both?
How will it affect what happens next?
Good question.
Big questions.
And ones we'll be thinking about for a long time.
Yeah, because the story's not over.
Not even close.
So thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Yeah, we'll see you next time.